Hey guys, it's Sid with SVTPerformance.com, and I've got another installment of taking a look at the NPD car collection here. If you missed the first one, I've got a link in the description below. You can go back and check that out. But this is going to be a multi-part series of videos where we just walk through and take a look at the car collection in Ocala, Florida at National Parts Depot. These guys have been longtime supporters of the site, and we wanted to just show off the amazing collection of the owners of this place. So we're going to start down this row this time, but first I wanted to show you, so we have some pedal cars back there that we showed you in a previous video. This time we've got, instead of power wheels, we've got horsepower wheels. These things are freaking sick. I love this old flathead 3 horsepower Briggs. I had one of these on a pump growing up that I used to have to play with all the time, so this is cool. Of course you got your Mustang, but man, if only they still made stuff like that instead of give kids the battery powered stuff. And let's face it, kids these days, what they want is a cell phone. See that in like a 2-year-old's hand in the grocery store. But back in the day, you got to play with engines and you eventually graduated into this kind of stuff. This row, you're getting a little bit more mix of things, not all Ford or Lincoln related. Got some Cadillacs, Oldsmobiles, Pontiacs, things like that. Beautiful Pontiac Grand Prix. And then we start getting into some of the Ford stuff, and there's one in particular down here that I really like. This Galaxy is really nice, 500 XL, very cool car, automatic, got the red upholstery, just red on red on red inside this thing. And then you end up with the Lincoln with, check out this. I like how they used to like color coordinate the interiors more. This thing is like a sort of a metallic blue interior. Beautiful. Chevrolet, if you guys are fans of those. Another Ford Galaxy. The one that I'm really interested in is way further down there. We'll get to that. I'm not huge up on this particular era of Fords, and I've got some family members that are really into these, mostly for their NASCAR racing history, because these were what were being raced in Daytona back in the day. Chevy Impalas, I know a lot of guys really like those. Cadillac car, I'm a huge fan of these things. It's probably because of Ghostbusters. You get that sort of Ecto 1 front end. This is 63. I think Ecto 1 was a 59. By then the fins had started to shrink a little bit. Man, they just don't build them like they used to. And one of the cool things about a lot of these cars, especially we get a little bit further down there into like some of the older Cadillacs and Lincolns, it's just how much metal was on this. Like, there's no plastic trim on any of these, but if I had to pick one, it might be that 61 Galaxy Hypo. So 3 2-barrel carbs on a 390, and I love the painted wheels with the dog dish hubs. Super nice. 3 on the tree, so she's got the proper number of pedals, cloth seats with vinyl trim, and this blue is ridiculous. I know this camera is not showing it off in properly. I mean, just this car is beautiful. Love the fins coming up. Nothing is made like this anymore. You know, everything looks like a bubble, basically. I don't like bubble cars. I want stuff that has character and styling, and this thing has it. I mean, just look at that badge. And honestly, Ford should have brought back, I'm gonna start telling on myself here, they wanted to make an electric car instead of calling it the Mustang Mach-E. I think they should have called it the Galaxy. I think that's a perfect name for an electric vehicle. But this thing, very nice. Getting into some Pontiacs. I'm not huge up on those. Buick, I know there's a lot of guys that are big into the Buicks. But again, that's in the thing I'm just not that familiar with. Got a Lincoln here, a couple Lincolns. And you're going to see a lot of Lincolns over there. If you can see the porthole window on that Continental, these guys love their Lincoln Continentals because we're going to see a ton of those. This Continental here, 4-door, and one of the things that like stands out to me is all of this work on this grill. You can see this is metal. This is not like some injection molded plastic. It's you know, crazy how all this stuff was made metal, everything, all steel. And you got the reverse opening hood with your latches here. Very cool. FE engine. And then again, this thing, air conditioning back then. I mean, that was a huge luxury item, but then again, we're in Florida. You're going to want your air conditioning, and it's a Lincoln. It's a luxury car. I really like the leather wrapping on the steering wheel too. That is simulated leather wrapping, it looks like. Yeah, that's not stitched, but they're also not trying to make it look like a stitch, which I like. I'm not a fan of companies like trying to make faux versions of stuff, putting in faux stitching, casting foam and stuff. Just make it something unique, and those guys did on this. Kind of a pinkish hue on this one. Another Pontiacs. This is not my cup of tea, I guess you'd say. This 59 Ford though, this just screams 50s. This, and I think it's way down there in part 1 of this series, so if you want to go back and look at everything on this row, you know, Thunderbirds, there's a Crown Victoria down there. That car and this car just says 50s to me. I mean, look at this interior. It's even got the clear plastic stay off grandma's couch cover on the front and rear just to protect that upholstery. I mean, this is so cool. And again, from part 1 of the video, we've got the spotlight mirrors. These things are really cool. It's funny that these are sort of making a comeback on certain Fords. More on that in the beginning or in that other video. So like I said, hit the link in the description if you want to go back and see all that. But this just dashes. It's so cool. Everything, physical knobs, buttons, you know, you're actually driving the car. Again, 3-speed on the tree. So cool. Another 59. This one, a 4-door. 50 millionth Ford built. So you're going to see a lot of this in the collection. These guys like to collect the whatever millionth Ford built. I think this is one of the earliest ones. This is the 50th million Ford vehicle that rolled off the assembly line. And it was a 59 Crown Victoria. So cool. 292 under the hood. But just that upholstery pattern is so cool with the little silver threads running through it. Everything's just, these older cars, they just really knew how to do it. We got the Mercury in the last video, but I think we're going to end off with this one. Sort of new, should be familiar to you guys. Ford GT 05. These cars were just, I wish I had a time machine to go back and pick these things up in like, I don't know, when was 08, where you could get them for like, God, they were in the low 100,000 range. You're not going to touch a clapped out wreck of one for that now. These things have gone way up in price, and for good reason. I mean, just look at this thing. There's nothing else on the road that looks like this, that sounds like this. They're so unique looking, so beautiful, run so well. I mean, just big 5.4 aluminum block twin screw blower under the hood. This one's got Camillo Pardo signed this one. So Camillo was the designer of the Ford GT and the Terminator Mustang and a bunch of other stuff. You're going to see some more stuff from Camillo in the collection a little bit further down. But if you guys have never gotten to experience one of these cars, you don't know what you're missing out on. There's just, it's so raw, yet refined. It's hard to describe. This is what everybody basically tries to take their Mustang and turn it into performance-wise, but you'll just never get that driving experience in anything else. And sadly, this thing is, you'll probably never see another one. You'll never see another supercharged V8 rear drive manual transmission car from Ford. If you want one, go get it now. They're not making any more, and this is just, it's peak muscle, Ford, performance, everything. I mean, SVT just killed it with this. Really need to do a video taking one of these things out and just like comparing it performance-wise to anything modern, because in my mind it just blows it away. This era is basically as good as it got to me. But I think we're going to leave it off there. We've got way more to look at. As you can see, it goes on way down that way and way back up this way. So this place is huge, and this is how you have to get around, because it's a big place. 9 acres under roof. And if you want to see more of this, please subscribe to the channel. We're going to have way more content coming out. Like I said, this collection's huge, and I just don't want to do a 2-hour-long video. So subscribe to the channel. Links in the description to the first part. Got many more parts coming up. Mustang Alley's over there. So if you want to see all Mustangs all the time, it's coming. We do have part 1 with this Boss 429 modded up with a board and stroke motor. That's in the link in the description below for that. So check it out. If you need any parts for your classic cars, hit up National Parts Depot, npdlink.com.